Previously on Gears.
Time to look at the world of Formula One this weekend. The Belgian Grand Prix Spa-Francorchamps. We will have even more details from Daisy in her double Ds this afternoon at 1:30. But let's have a look at what's going on a little bit off the track as well as on the track. In the first free practice this morning, which I must tell you, it was meant to be dry, and it's typical. The Ardennes region of Spa in Belgium is notorious for inclement weather, so it was a little bit wet and then it was a little bit dry. But the fastest man for the morning was Fernando Alonso for Ferrari, the two Force Indias right behind him, and then the McLaren of Sergio Perez. I don't think you can read too much into these times, to be very, very honest. It's more about a question of the guys getting familiar with the circuit, and then of course also with any new updates that they have on the car. I think they would have preferred to have had a dry session because it is supposedly going to be wet for most of the weekend, and I'm sure they would have liked to have had some dry conditions just to see if their cars are benefiting from any of the updates that have been worked on over the past summer break. 22 out of the 20, all 22 of the drivers did go out. The two low tie were the bottom, so it doesn't really mean much that they were out there. But it was great to see Heikki Kovalainen back out doing some free practice work for the Caterham Renault team, and let's hope that maybe we get Heikki back into Formula One. He thoroughly deserves to be there as well. So Alonso quickest this morning. Other things, of course, the silly season is all going around. Christian Horner from Red Bull has come out and said, well, Raikkonen is still on the radar for Red Bull, even though David Robertson or Stephen Robertson from Kimi's management has said no, he's definitely not going to Red Bull. So, you know, don't discount these things. Also, Jenson Button has not got a contract for 2014. He hasn't re-signed with McLaren, and there's even speculation that he might be the man to replace Felipe Massa at Ferrari. Now, that's an interesting turn of events. Now we've got Jenson Button, we've got Nico Hülkenberg, we've got Kimi Räikkönen, all perhaps in the fray to replace Felipe Massa. Felipe Massa, on the other hand, says, I don't listen to rumors, I'm here to do a job. Other news, Jaime Alguersuari, who used to be in Formula One, looks like he's going to be doing some testing for IndyCar in 2014, perhaps given up on his idea that he wants to remain in Formula One. Also, the Austrian media reports that a Russian teenager has already signed a 2014 deal with Sauber. So that means he either replaces Esteban Gutierrez or he replaces Nico Hülkenberg, which means Nico Hülkenberg might have already signed a deal to go to Ferrari or to go to Lotus to team up with Romain Grosjean, which means that Raikkonen could well be going to Ferrari, or he could go to McLaren, and Button then could go to Ferrari, and then, of course, maybe Michael Schumacher will return. I don't know. It's all very, very complicated at present. We've got our next free practice, which is coming up in 42 minutes from now. And Ian's not in here this afternoon, so between 2 and 3, you're going to have the delightful sounds of her music and her voice, Daisy Fensham, while I watch all of the Formula One action.
You're such a comedian.
I know, very, very funny. So, in order to just to finish off our Formula One report this afternoon, I thought what we should do is take you to the legend of Spa itself, Michael Schumacher, and I'm taking you back to 1997. Watch this.
Later on, there goes the pace car out of the way, and now they can start the race. Nobody can overtake until they cross the start and finish line. No overtaking until then.
So Villeneuve will come out on the bus stop, and here he is. Villeneuve leads, Alesi is second, Schumacher is third. Down to La Source, the first lap at racing speed. Fisichella goes round. Now, are we going to look back and see whether there is any contact? There often is at this corner when the race is starting from a standing start, but thankfully it looks as though they have all got round clear, and Villeneuve has got that inestimable advantage of a clear track. Everybody behind him, Alesi, Schumacher, Fisichella and Häkkinen, have got those great roosters of spray being thrown up at them. They've got to drive through them. To some extent, they've got to feel their way around the circuit. And Alesi is having a look at Les Combes. Michael Schumacher, who spent the whole of this morning working on the setup of his Ferrari. He was only 15th fastest this morning, and a lot of people thought he got a major problem. He hadn't. He was getting his car set up, and he's going through.
Yes, Schumacher got a great run out of Les Combes there, but couldn't make it stick on the way in. to the hairpins, but terrific drive off that last corner. And here it is again. He's going to be giving Lacey more than a few problems for the rest of this lap.
Yeah, look at Fisichella behind him. Lacey and Schumacher and Fisichella battling for second position, but Lacey's holding them up, and Villeneuve is taking advantage of the situation to pull away in the Williams Renault. But Michael Schumacher is the man to watch, the undisputed rainmaster of Formula One. We're on lap 4 now, already at 1/11th distance in the Belgian Grand Prix. Lacey, Schumacher all over his gearbox. Fisichella is behind him. Then it's Mika Häkkinen and Frentzen.
A big problem in these kind of conditions is fog inside your visor, and you've already seen Michael Schumacher. If you look closely, he's got a lot of mist on the inside of his visor. Not much he can do about that. But remember, the TV camera can see much better than the human eye, and that's what all the TV camera could see then. It's impossible to know where you're going.
Schumacher, again, he's diving left, diving right, but Jean Lacey is refusing to move. He's got the racing line, he's under no obligation to move, and Schumacher's got to force his way through. They're up to the bus stop now. This is the conclusion of lap 4, the 1/11th distance. Lacey second, Schumacher out of the bus stop together. Those enormous puddles seem to have cleared up to Larson.
Well, Schumacher's going to have to go up the inside because Lacey will go wide to take his normal. They're going to touch. He's going to turn in on you, Michael. No, he just saw him at the last moment. Well done, Jean. Good move from Michael. A bit risky when you've got a world championship at stake.
Now, the gap was 1.5 seconds. What gap? The gap between Villeneuve and Jean Lacey. Now, here's a replay as Michael Schumacher courageously, daringly takes that second place away from Jean Lacey, who just at the last moment sees the Ferrari on the right. Jinks to the left. Schumacher goes through, and he's right up with Villeneuve and going for the lead at Les Combes. Incredible start to the Belgian Grand Prix, and Michael Schumacher is the man. I hate to keep repeating this, but he is superlative.
You saw him there hard on the throttle, and he's going up the inside of Villeneuve now. Beautiful move. Remember, Schumacher had those lesser treaded tyres. He should, if the track begins to dry, should have more grip, and boy is he using them well. So an easy move there really on Villeneuve. That will have taken him completely by surprise. Grass around the outside that the security vehicles can use, and most drivers head straight for that, because if you get bogged down in that gravel trap, we all know too well, it's the end of your day.
Well, look at it now as Michael Schumacher comes through to complete his 5th lap. The gap previously was 1.5 seconds. Schumacher has gone through. Villeneuve is actually much slow, some 7 seconds slower on that lap. But the gap now with Schumacher.
And there goes Hill past Inez. No, he didn't make it stick. He had to lift off. He didn't really commit himself to that move. It was his teammate after all, but Damon needs to be getting on with it. He's got David Coulthard breathing down his neck also, and he needs to be going. Häkkinen doing well in 5th. Remember, as of last night, he was on the back of the grid. With,
4th position. In 5th place, it's Mika Häkkinen in the McLaren. 6th is Frentzen, who started 7th. Pedro Diniz is 7th, ahead of Damon Hill. 9th is David Coulthard. 10th is Johnny Herbert in the Sauber. And Villeneuve is not coping as well with this, obviously, as Michael Schumacher is. But look how Fisichella is pushing him.
Absolutely. That Williams, for whatever reason, does not work well in the wet. I can't see a logical reason for it. It's good in the dry. They don't run it with particularly stiff suspension. I just don't understand. But every time it's been wet in practices, that car's been off the pace, and Fisichella is all over him.
Now they're coming up to Blanchimont. This is the fastest corner on the course, and off goes the Prost of Shinji Nakano, the Japanese driver. That's the first retirement from the race, although Jarno Trulli is still well down.
Well, he could have had to go at the inside, but it's a... Oh, and he's locked his wheels. Villeneuve has locked his wheels. He's got to go through the pit lane at 80 kilometres per hour. That's cost him an enormous amount of time.
Yes, he's been passed by Fisichella, who's now up into 3rd position.
Second place for Fisichella. Villeneuve going down the pit lane. He's going to stop for tyres while he's at it. Sorry, maybe he didn't lock his wheels. Maybe he intended to come in, but very early.
Brave move.
Okay, he's gone for intermediates like Schumacher. Schumacher was a full 10 seconds a lap faster on that last lap than any other car in the field. Villeneuve has stopped for the intermediates that Schumacher's running with.
And that was on lap 7. Long way still to go, 37 laps.
Here's Nakano going off at
Weekdays from 12 to 2 p.m. Central African Time.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Gears with Sasha Martinengo on balls.co.za.